Hi, my name is Bobby Newman. I am the founder and CEO of Newman Intervention Services, and we also provide addiction services or help people find addiction services for those who are reaching out to us in need of an intervention. And one of the first things that we ask the person is, do you have a treatment program picked out? And often, most of the time, they do not. And that's the very first thing that we need to do. There's a sequence of events here, and that's what these 25 tips actually go through. One of the things about, helping someone with an addiction problem, a lot of times the saying goes, and you'll probably hear me repeat this if you watch more than one of my videos, you will hear the term, every fire needs oxygen and every addict needs an enabler. And so as an interventionist and substance abuse counselors, when somebody is struggling with addiction and it's a continued problem, then we're looking for the enabler. Who's actually making it easier for this person to continue to do drugs? So there's a series of things that need to happen to make it successful to get your loved one into treatment. And I go through that. People will call me, a sister will call, or a mom, or a dad, or a grandfather, or whomever. And my first question is, okay, do you have a treatment program picked out? Next question, usually it's no. About 99% of the time it's no. Okay, well, let's go over our options here. And we discuss what type of options out there. And to do that, we need to know a few basic things. What type of drugs they're using, how long they've been using, have they been to treatment before, are they on any psychotropic medications like Paxil, Prozac, any anti-anxiety meds like Xanax, Klonopin. Those are known as benzodiazepines. If they're an alcoholic or anything like that, we need to know how much they're drinking. And we're going to need to know insurance information. We're also going to need to know, what type of resources that we're looking at. If it's Medicaid or Medicare, or if there's, absolutely no resources, we can direct you to find the right program for that person. A lot of times with the state-funded programs, though, particularly now, this is April the 6th in 2020, and we've got a serious issue going on throughout the country. But sometimes these treatment programs, particularly that are state funded, they have waiting lists. Under normal circumstances, they have waiting lists that are usually 3 to 4 months long. Unfortunately, because there's just not enough treatment programs out there. People that are have a loved one struggling, and why can't I get my loved one into treatment? There's just not enough treatment programs out there. Now with this current situation, they're not even putting up waiting lists anymore. From my understanding, they won't even put you on a waiting list because they can't take more people in. And they don't know when this thing's going to stop. So the thing of it is, if there's any resources out there, we actually have some different programs out there that are really good that we can help you with. We'll introduce you to. And that's the first thing we need to do, because actually to keep, as far as, there's no sense in going to the trouble of an intervention if you're not going to do the absolute best for this person that you can. I mean, most people, they go into treatment, they get the idea, well, I'm going to, I went to treatment, and then they get the idea, well, treatment doesn't work. And the truth is that depending on, again, there's a lot of well-meaning people out there, but the truth is that most programs, most traditional forms of treatment, they don't have substantial success rates. And because there's three things that you need to deal with, or there's the major roadblocks to permanent sobriety. There's three of them, and there's a lot of roadblocks, but the three major ones are cravings for the substance, whether it be alcohol or heroin or cocaine or methamphetamine or prescription drugs. There's physical cravings, and as well as there's mental cravings. And give us a call. I'll be glad to go over all that with you in detail as to how that works. But that's the first thing is cravings. You got to handle the cravings. The second thing is depression. Obviously, there's biophysical or physiological reasons why a person is depressed. Just simply, there's several reasons why, physical reasons why, and there's also mental, emotional reasons why. Now, if a person has a car wreck, gets a DUI, gets thrown in jail, loses his job, that's a pretty depressing state of affairs. So depression might be the appropriate emotion. The key is, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to get this person out of that state of depression? So there's physical reasons and mental reasons for the depression. The third thing is guilt, right? The third thing is guilt, and for me, I went to rehab 20 years ago and went through a very good program, and no relapses. I've been, I think my life is a miracle. It's like I have a second chance at life, a second life. It's like I stepped through a portal and now I'm living this life now, which was meant to be. But the thing of it is the guilt was the thing. And when I handled the guilt in my life, I mean, a lot of times, like, there's 12-step programs. Well, you can go out and make amends, and that's great. Making amends and making up the damage that you've done to others and your society and your surroundings, that's great. But a lot of times people don't forgive themselves. And, if you're hung up on something that happened in the past, that will cause a person to be depressing, and doesn't mean you don't take responsibility for those actions. It just means you've got to be able to learn how to move forward and look for, live in the now and look for tomorrow. So the programs that allow you to do that and work with you to do that are the best options. There's basically 4 kinds of treatment out there that, a lot of people are unaware of, but I'm going to go over them with you real quickly. One of them is the traditional 12-step program. The traditional 12-step program will come in and get you detoxed off of now each one is going to have its own little thing that they do that's special. And again, these are a lot of well-meaning people. They're going to get you detoxed if it's like alcohol or other drugs. They're going to get you detoxed and get you stabilized. They're also going to get you acclimated to the 12-step program, or the Narcotics Anonymous or Alcoholics Anonymous approach. And then the idea is that you come out of the treatment and you do usually 90 meetings in 90 days, and you get a sponsor, and you often become a sponsor yourself. And then you then you're basically going to be in treatment for, and practicing that and continuing to work the steps as you go along. And people, I have friends that have done that, and I have friends that have achieved success with that. They had to try 2 or 3 times to make it there, but they actually were able to achieve success. The second type of treatment program is what they call the dual diagnosis. And that's where the person is, obviously, like we talked about, the depression, the anxiety, and the, mood swings and things like that. Well, I'm just going to, obviously drugs will have a toxic effect on the person's overall state of mind. And so even the APA, they have a diagnostic statistical manual that came out. Number 5, I think, is the last one, and basically it's a series of diagnoses that are codified so they can actually bill the insurance companies, and they have various things in there that they're gonna diagnose this person with, and it's depression, anxiety, bipolar, things of that nature. Then that unfortunately, that requires them being prescribed meds. Now, the truth is that it takes several weeks or months for these toxic effects of the substance abuse to actually wear off, and for the brain and the body and the hormones and the endocrine system and everything to start functioning normally. So we want to get that back in check, and then check to see if there's any, underlying mental, emotional disorder. And, people will, or mental disorder, and people will actually call me and say, well, he's been like that all of his life. And, I had a son he's 28 years old now, and he's a very energetic young man, very smart young man, very good looking. He was diagnosed with ADHD when he was a kid. And we found out he had a nutritional deficiency. And we found out that he needed some probiotics and various things to start correcting the things in his body to start working correctly, and then we were able to get him off the medication. Now, this was done under a physician's care, a PhD, actually, that specialized in ADHD kids. It wasn't just something that mom and dad wanted to do. This was under medical care. So that's what we try to do, is get let's take a really good look at this before we just go and start handing out, he was diagnosed, this psychiatrist took a look at him and put him on it in 3 to 4 minutes. He said, oh, he's got ADHD. Now, he might have had all the symptoms, but we didn't look at all the causes that could be causing that. So those are the things that I'd like to caution people about that. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not going to pretend to be. I'm just telling you that as a substance abuse counselor, when you get the person off of the substances, you get their back on track and offer them some hope, you're going to see a lot of those things go away. The third type of treatment program is a long-term religious-based program, which is a non-denominational Christian program that it usually is about a year to 18 months long. It's a very good program, but there are some restrictions there, particularly now with this situation that we have going on in our country and throughout the world now. We actually have certain restrictions that they put on that, there's a couple of things. They don't allow people to smoke. The person has to be willing, they have to call in. So they're, again, a very good program, usually a year to 18 months long. It's kind of a work program. What they do is the person goes in, they get detoxed, and then they're going to go into a work program to where they're going to work and earn their own way and pay for their program. They go out and get a job outside. It's under supervision. But they do Bible study, I think 4 to 5 times a day. If you want to give us a call, we definitely can, go over that with you more in detail. The fourth type of program is what they call a cognitive, biophysical, social education model program, to where they actually naturally get you off of all the drugs. Of course, if there's any type of medical situation that would require you to be detoxed in a hospital under medical supervision, that's definitely going to happen. But once that person gets through safely and they've been released by the doctor, the medical doctor, then they would start a drug-free program, and it starts full of nutritional supplements designed to reverse the effects of the drugs and alcohol, as well as a complete detoxification. A lot of times people don't realize that residuals of drugs stay in your body for a very long time, and they continue to cause problems, and they contribute to depression and things like that cause the person to feel bad. And so they actually give the person nutrients to help reverse that, and then they detox the person completely. And then they run, basically they have educational courses to where they can teach the person about, personal value and integrity, social and antisocial characteristics, how to improve your condition in life, and things like that. So that's a very good program. Usually takes about 2 to 3 months, maybe 4 months to complete that program. So there's different options out there that we need to go over based on your situation. I have a program, over on the East Coast that's basically a psychosocial model program that's, it's a drug-free program. I've got a 12-step program in Houston that I work with that's really, really good. So there's different options out there that we can go over with you, but that's the first thing you need to do is pick the treatment program, make sure that it's away from where the person is using drugs, even though a lot of times families will say I want the person to be close to home. Not a good idea. If you're going to go to the trouble of an intervention, you need to get the person away. It puts up a geographical barrier. They themselves, they need to get out of the environment too. There's lots of triggers, and a lot of times, they need to get pulled away for a minute and get their head put on straight for a second. So keeping them close to home is not necessarily a successful action in doing that. So again, there's different options. The first thing we need to do is pick the right treatment program. Give us a call, 866-989-4499. Go to our website, newmaninterventions.com, fill out the form. You can go to our YouTube channel as well, Newman Intervention Services. I'm going to be posting these videos and go through an entire series of the 25 tips that so better educate you guys. So again, give us a call, 866-989-4499. Thank you.